Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackmon.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackmon, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football, it's up for grabs, it's covered in the end zone by Will Blackmon for a Green Bay touchdown!
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
Welcome to another edition of Bucher and Blackmon, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can see me on FS1, read me on Bleacher Report, hear me on radio.com and Entercom terrestrial stations, and you can follow me on Twitter at Rick Bucher and on Instagram at Rick_Bucher. He is Super Bowl champ, NFL vet, Will Blackmon. You can hear him on Fox Radio. You can see him on FS1. And you can follow him on Twitter at Will Blackmon and on Instagram also at Will Blackmon and also NFL Wine Guy, right?
Yeah, look at you trying to give that a plug.
Yes,
no
absolutely.
discounts for you.
Absolutely. Not looking for a discount. I will say, are you modeling or are you selling wine? What are you doing? Because I thought I saw a post of you in a leather jacket. Looked like you were
cut off hoodie.
Cut off hoodie. Okay, I was close.
No,
cut off
you
hoodie.
Way off.
Yeah, I know. That was being facetious.
I am the brand. I am the NFL Wine Guy. I am the brand.
And
so it's me. It'd be one thing if I was like, okay, if I had a wine label and it was supposed to be about the wine, but I kept taking pictures of me. I am the NFL Wine Guy.
In a way, you do look sort of like a bottle of wine.
That sounds
especially with the hoodie. A Merlot, a Burgundy, but your silhouette. Your silhouette kind of has a little bit of a wine bottle elegance to it.
Stop. Give it up.
Really? Okay. All right. So this is going to be more of the Will Blackmon show than the Bucher. It's going to be more Blackmon than Bucher because there's a number of subjects that you are very close to or intimately connected to that is news. And we're going to start with your alma mater, Boston College, which just fired its head football coach, Steve Addazio. And a couple of former players came out and were critical of him on social media, which you don't see every day, but you did in this case. So let's start with, how do you feel about Addazio getting the hook?
I thought it was time. You figured you have 7 years, and I believe he finished 44-44.
Right.
I think he just plateaued. Here's the thing. I respect what he did in terms of everyone saying, "Oh, he rebuilt the program." It's like, well, he kind of put his stamp on it more so than rebuilt it. Before him, Frank Spaziani, he had 2 winning seasons and 2 losing seasons, and then they moved on from him. Mm-hmm. And then Coach Addazio came in, 7-6, 7-6, 3-9, 7-6, 7-6, 7-5, 6-6. Like just consistent, just being mediocre, not really, beating. I don't think we probably beat very few ranked teams. Losing, not going to many bowl games, only won one, just inconsistent. I think 1 year he was ranked. That was last year. We were 17 at one point. Mm-hmm. And it was just inconsistent, overdue. Like I said, I respect the fact that he tried to bring in the Blazers for the players. The guys would walk down together. After games, they did the fight song. He had these sayings, "Be a dude." That's all good and well, but at the end of the day, like, are you winning ball games?
Sure.
I had a conversation with some of my former teammates, and I was like, dude, I think our worst year under O'Brien, we were I think 8-5. Other than that, we were 9-3, 9-3. We never lost a bowl game. Never lost to Notre Dame. Went to a bowl game every year. Never lost Notre Dame, and I did not know the fight song. All of us were like, "Yo, we didn't know the fight song." We were out there kicking butt. Come on, man.
You weren't singing the song. You were just bringing the fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, right? I understand. Like I said, the tradition. It was cool trying to bring some structure to the program. I respect that. We were competitive. I respect that, but it just wasn't enough, and guys just weren't responding to what it is.
Right.
And yeah, as you mentioned, in the beginning, guys came out the woodwork saying stuff, and I don't agree with that. One of it is former colleague. I didn't play with him, but Andre Williams. I guess there was a situation where Addazio didn't look him in the eye and whatever when he came back for like a Legends game, what have you. And I'm like, dude, that's okay.
That seems a little petty.
It's kind of like, dude, like let it go.
Right.
And if you know Coach Addazio, he's just different. Right. He's not gonna hug everybody and wish you well and all. Like he's just different. It is what it is. I understand. I was telling my wife earlier that I understand if he's still in the seat and guys are coming out the woodworks trying to get him out of that seat. It's still wrong. But he already got fired. So why is everybody come out telling their stories?
Yeah, that's the problem that I have, to be honest, is that you're going to come after the fact. If you got an issue, bring it up while it's happening. And deal with it. I'm glad
he's fired. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, it's the same. By the way, 2002, and Tom O'Brien was the coach at Boston College while you were there.
Yep.
You guys were 9-4.
Yep.
But won the Motor City Bowl.
Yep.
So I get all that. There's usually one of two things when a guy gets fired, and let's be honest, 7 years is a good run. He can't.
It's a very good run.
He can't say he didn't get a shot.
However, we did get a new athletic director, Martin Jarman, and he came from Ohio State. So it's kind of like when you get the new GM.
Yeah.
When you get, everyone's auditioning.
Hello, Ron Rivera.
Right.
which
Exactly.
we're going to get to.
Yeah. Right. Everyone's on the evaluation. So it's kind of like, hey, last year you finished 7-5.
Yep.
Could have been an 8-win season, but the bowl game got canceled, which is just so weird. But, let's see how you do this year. Once again, another mediocre season, and it was just time. Right. It was very time. And I don't know. And it's just funny because so many people, even one player, I forget his name, Matt Patcham, I think. He played 1 year. He transferred from Florida to Boston College with Addazio and was like, he's trying to build a good program and try to get to his history and what he saw. I'm like, dude, that kid Matt doesn't know the history. Doesn't know the BC's history. Like, so my brother is a Boston College graduate. He attended BC in 95.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been going to Boston College games probably for 10 years, including like playing in them, you know?
Right.
I seen, when Dan Henning's time was up and then Coach O'Brien came and took over. I seen all that. Like, I've been seeing BC football for a long time. So I understand the history of that. You can't play 1 year and then say that he was going to do this. Yeah, like you said, 7 years, that's a long time.
Oh, that's a good stretch. So there's usually one of two things when a guy can't get off the snide as a football coach, as a basketball coach, at the collegiate level, whatever it is. There's coaching, and then there's recruiting.
Right.
Was the talent there for BC to be better than they were? Was it which one was it?
I believe the talent was there.
Okay.
I just think they didn't capitalize on what they had. I wasn't sure of what kind of players they were looking for. Obviously, he's, a fantastic O-line coach. Like, that's what he can do that. He also gets Brian White from Wisconsin, who's a fantastic running back coach. He was the running back coach when Ron Dane ran for 2,000 yards and other backs that did well after that. But it was just interesting, like, in terms of us getting, quarterback. We have so many quarterbacks on our team. Like, I don't know what kind of QB he's looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing too, is that just recruiting wise. And someone also said, oh, well, he didn't have like the resources. The resources came late in terms of like the indoor facility. We just got that, extensive weight room that came in a few years ago. Like, he didn't have the resources. But I'm like, dude, Coach O'Brien, 2002, he signed 3 U.S. Army All-Americans. That's equivalent to the McDonald's All-Americans for basketball. Signed 3 of them, including myself. We had no indoor facility. We had to share a weight room with all the other sports. We practiced outdoor on a baseball field.
You had no indoor facility in Boston, Massachusetts.
We put a bubble over the stadium.
Huh. So how much did that affect the temperature?
Hold on. And we were sponsored by Reebok. We were the only Reebok school.
What, Fila wasn't available?
Reebok is great in terms of like everyday lifestyle, but man, we were Reebok football.
Right.
We used to laugh at because we were the only Reebok school in the country. Everybody had these cool Nike Vapors. I actually wore Nike some games and got in trouble.
Rebel.
Hey man, I gotta play, bro. I gotta.
You and Antonio Brown and his helmet. You and your cleats.
Oh, yeah. My helmet. That was when I had a helmet issue too going there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It was just time.
So any thoughts in which direction they go? Is there somebody out there you'd like to see them hire? What's the feeling?
I don't know the feeling. I spoke to a couple of people in the office there, and eventually, hopefully, I get to talk to Martin before he makes a decision. Just to, I do want to get involved and see what's going on to help the program. But I think somebody needed there is someone who's a leader of men, somebody who obviously is really good at recruiting and understands the BC culture, what it's about.
Do you have somebody in mind? Do you have a list? You have somebody in mind that you would recommend or that you'd like them to take a look at?
I mean, the first name that comes to mind for me is Al Washington.
Okay. And
he played defensive line. We were the same class, and we were actually roommates at one point during our career. And then he's currently the linebacker coach at Ohio State.
Okay.
Before that, he was a D-line coach at Michigan.
Okay.
And just a fantastic individual. He almost has like that Mike Tomlin vibe. Just knows how to get it out of people, and just watching him as we play. Like, I was the rebel. I was the one that was really athletic. I can get away with doing, not doing everything he was supposed to do, what have you. But I was very athletic. He was undersized D-line, but he did everything he was supposed to do. I'm talking about down to the last rep. Every night, when you say stretch every night, Al stretched every night to the point where Al can do splits at like damn near 300 pounds.
Wow.
Not even. Yeah. And just loves people, man. And I think he would be fantastic. I don't care if he never had any coordinator experience. You don't need coordinator experience. You just need to know how to lead people. I remember when I was in New York, Coach Coughlin did not call one play. One play. Mike Tomlin, I don't see him calling any plays.
Right.
Can you lead guys? You can get coordinators. Can you lead guys? Can you get players? Can you motivate guys? Can you inspire guys? And I believe Al's the guy. I know I also threw out Peter Carmichael Jr., the OC for the Saints. He's also a BC graduate.
Okay.
And so he has some BC ties. But I just think right now that would be super cool.
Yep. I'm glad you mentioned Mike Tomlin because, and I don't want to. We've got to get on to Ron Rivera and some other subjects, but there are people in the business, people who cover the NFL or who consider themselves NFL experts, who killed Mike Tomlin on the regular when everything's going on with Le'Veon and Antonio Brown and the impression that they were underachieving in spite of having Big Ben and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and Tomlin wasn't a disciplined coach. Everything was at his feet. And I always looked at it, one, having been to a couple of Steelers games, having been around Tomlin, and seeing how guys continued to play for him, no matter what hand he had. And it's to your point. Like, to me, he was the consummate leader. But when you have I mean, look at the personalities that he was dealing with. Look at Antonio Brown now. He's not even in the league. Le'Veon Bell is lost with the Jets. Big Ben, obviously tremendously talented, but he said some strange things at strange
he's a head
times
case too. He
Exactly.
wasn't a piece of cake, and obviously dealt with his issues with the law too.
Exactly. So my thing was, you guys keep putting this at Tomlin's feet like he's not a disciplined coach. You've got major stars who you got to find a way to utilize what they do best and keep guardrails up to keep them in. But that is one of the great challenges of, and not to compare Tomlin to Freddie Kitchens, but it was what Kitchens is going to face. When you have a massive amount of talent, that doesn't mean you automatically win. You got to figure out how you can harness it and get that great talent to play within your system.
Right.
And they have to be amenable to that. Like this idea that you
can
make them.
Right. Can you get the best out of the worst player?
Exactly. Yes.
Can you do that? You know, and he has every right to complain about everything. Even down to that, even after the fight, didn't even blink.
Right.
You know, we're going to bench Mason, put in Duck Hodges, and we'll go win the game.
Yeah. No. I mean, if anybody questioned Mike Tomlin as a coach, I think what he's done, they're on their third or fourth quarterback now?
They're on their third. They traded away Dobbs, and they had 3. Yep.
So, and they're in a wild card spot right now. This may, if anybody, for all those, I just haven't heard you know what, my bad, had it wrong on Tomlin, because he's been savage like the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Listen, how about this? He took over, 2007, I believe? Yeah, because they won in 2006. 0 losing seasons.
Right.
0.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And how many times to the playoffs?
It looks. Hold on, let me pull something. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 playoffs and 1 Super Bowl.
Right.
Impressive, man.
No, without question. That's what I always mystified me. And the same people that were killing Tomlin were, singing the praises of guys that hadn't done anything and didn't have the track record he had.
Who have never gone through adversity.
Yeah.
Like the whole wave with the wizard offensive coordinators, the wizard play callers, like praising those guys. It's like, dude, wait till you go. Let them go through something.
Yep. Exactly. Well said. So, with all that, we do have to get to Ron Rivera, who does not have his job anymore. For those who don't know, Dave Tepper just purchased the Carolina Panthers a year ago, and his answer to getting rid of Ron Rivera after 9 seasons was, it was time. This doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence about Dave Tepper as an owner. Now, I'm always going to give a guy coming out of the gate, wants to have his own people, wants to change things up. I get it, but I don't know. Unless you already know who it is that you're getting.
That's what I'm saying. That's always how it is.
It's unless you have that lined up and he's a proven quantity, what are you doing? Because, again, Ron Rivera's track record, and considering some of the whole Cam Newton saga and what they've gone through with his injuries, I question this move. I question making this move now. What's the purpose of making the move now? Unless Rivera said, hey, look, if you're going to get rid of me, let me go early so that people that are already looking at making a change with their, Cleveland or wherever it might be, they're going to know that I'm on the market. I can begin that process of looking for my next job. If that's the case, then I feel completely different about Tepper, that he's doing Rivera solid. Wants to make a change, but hey, I want to put you in a position to go on and find, another great job. But I still, again, I like, everybody was high on Cliff Kingsbury going to Arizona. He still may end up being demonstrating he's a great coach. Sean McVay with the Rams. It's be careful. Adam Gase, how many is he going to get another shot? I mean,
well, I think him and Douglas are friends. The new GM.
Right. No, I get that, but I'm just saying. I don't know a guy, an experienced head coach, who has had consistent success, as you said, has gone through a certain amount of adversity, and you're going to go get the shiny new object,
right? Because
why? Like, I just change for change's sake. I don't believe in that. If there's a flaw, if you're looking at the talent that you have and saying we're not getting the most out of our talent, okay. But I don't recall, and you refresh my memory. I don't recall a time where I looked at the Panthers and said, you know what, they're underachieving. They're not being coached. Like I don't know that I would say that about the Panthers over the last, I don't know, certainly last 3-4 years. Would you?
There's somebody he wants, like you said. There's somebody he wants. But we just said it earlier, though. When a new guy comes in, everyone's on the evaluation.
Right. And by the way, you're starting your program over.
Yeah, like that's what he's saying.
The idea that you're just going to pick up and take off, the situations with Jim Harbaugh coming in and taking over the 49ers and them, look, they were loaded with talent. They were ready to be coached up. That was the missing piece there.
Right.
I don't know that that's necessarily the case with the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just dealt with something. That's why this whole Cam Newton thing is so weird to me, man. It's just.
What do you think happens there?
I don't even know. Because I think initially they almost thought about him sitting out the whole year because his shoulder, whatever it was.
Right.
And then coming back and his foot, and I don't know. It almost looked like basically, okay, you look at the Washington Redskins. They're not playing Josh Norman because they don't want him to get hurt because apparently they're going to make a move. And I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've seen that before with RG3.
Okay.
And so it just seems so weird, because Cam is such a competitor, and for him, I'm sure he's dealt with worse.
Yeah. Well,
and so everything
going back to his college career.
Yeah, everything just seems so weird, man. I don't understand. So it almost looks like David Tepper is like, hey, he literally said it's time for me to put my stamp on the football side. Yeah. We already made adjustment on the business side. So he might be going after a hot young name.
Be careful.
Maybe he does keep Cam. And maybe he goes and gets he's trying his best to get Lincoln Riley.
But I think money-wise, that's a challenge, right? I mean,
right.
Keeping Cam kind of binds them. Can you afford to keep Cam, especially if he's not playing? Like, is that a worthwhile investment? If you're going to continue to play Kyle Allen, can you afford to be paying Cam Newton what you're paying him sitting on the bench? Considering, I mean, look, they do have to upgrade their team. There's no doubt about that. And so the question is, can you afford to keep Cam that way? We'll see. He gets the opportunity to put his stamp on it. By the way, I want our listeners to know that Will at one point was going to eat snacks throughout the show in protest because we started our recording. I'm assuming this is why you were going to be obnoxious and do that, because you were upset that we were recording 30 minutes later.
What does that got to do? What is the announcement for?
Because you are doing us a favor and you're not doing that. Even though, do you have the snacks right there? Are the Hawaiian onion ring chips? That's what it is, right? And your daughter discovered these?
She did.
And how did your daughter discover Hawaiian onion ring chips?
Because she is the snack queen. That's why.
And I know, but how old is
I don't know.
How old is your daughter?
She's 4.
So what? She's like at the store, like picking things off the shelf? Like, when you say...
She does. Every time they come home, I go in the cabinet. There's a new snack.
Are you a snack guy?
I like to snack. Yeah.
I
I usually snack. At nighttime when my wife and I we decide to watch some TV or something.
What are you snacking on?
It depends. If it's early, say if it's like right now we have time, I might make a full on charcuterie board.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm thinking popcorn.
No. If we have, that's what I'm saying. If we have time, but if it's like 11, maybe midnight, then yeah, we'll get chips, and I like these plantain chips from Trader Joe's. Fantastic.
Plantain chips. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds healthy.
It's all right.
We're into this new thing called Milton's. It's a gluten-free cracker. They got them like in a.
That sounds like an old person snack.
No, it's not actually. It's not. It's tasty, and it's healthy.
You have to be 55 and up to eat
No,
that.
no,
Required.
because my daughter, who is in high school, loves them as well, and there's a dip called bitchin' sauce. I hope we don't lose our clean rating.
I heard about that.
Oh, the chipotle bitchin' sauce.
It's pretty good.
With the Milton's crackers. We used to use the nut thin crackers.
The sauce is pretty good.
And then the Miltons came along, and Milton's just killed the nut thins. Nut thins might be kind of the old person cracker. I'll give you that.
My wife, she discovered the sauce, that sauce from Trader Joe's a long time ago.
We go through that, we go through a couple of those. My wife, she's a serious snacker. Serial snacker. Cereal, SERIAL, not the cereal, like the breakfast food. All right. By the way, so is it over? Is the deadline passed for us to see Will Blackmon in uniform again this season?
There's no deadline. I never retired, so it doesn't count.
Okay, so Saturday was the deadline for Rob Gronkowski
to unretire and come out and play.
So because he retired,
yes,
he would have to unretire by Saturday to come back.
Yes.
So you are still eligible to sign.
I never retired, correct.
Okay. So what are the prospects that we are going to see Will Blackmon? Wait, give us an update on the potential of Will Blackmon putting on his vapors again. Unless you're going to break out the old Reeboks.
No, I never wore Nikes or Reeboks in the NFL. I wore Adidas and Under Armour.
Okay. And was that a deal? You have a deal with them?
I did have. My last deal was with Adidas, yes.
Got it. All right. So what's the is there still a possibility?
Yeah, there's still a possibility. I'm not pressing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting there hoping, wishing, praying. If they call, cool. If they don't, then I'm going to keep working on, the media side.
Okay.
So I've been putting my attention there because that's what's going on. That's what's current. Doing the shows, on the radio, and then going on, Heard and Speak for Yourself. So that's what's going on. That's what I've been focusing on. And if a team does call, then I'll be ready. But until then, I'm not going to stress about it.
Got it. Okay. By the way, what was the other thing that I wanted to hit you with? Oh, I can't figure out where you are on Kirk Cousins.
So here's what's disappointing. Okay. Kirk is having a fantastic season.
Yes. Well. Okay. Yes.
What you mean? How? But how? How you say?
He started slow.
Listen.
He started slow.
Big deal.
What do you mean big deal? Fantastic season? Deshaun Watson is having a fantastic season.
And his team is what? 8-4, 7-5, whatever it is.
Okay. What's your point? The Minnesota Vikings are 8-4.
Right.
What's your point?
My point is Kirk is having a fantastic season. And he arguably was in a conversation. He could have put himself in a conversation in terms of MVP.
No.
Yes, he could have.
No.
Because he literally had identical, if not better, stats a week ago. as Russell Wilson, and his team was playing very well. That comeback when they were down by 20 points, Dalvin Cook had 26 yards rushing. There were big games where Kirk Cousins has did everything he was supposed to do.
Against what kind of team?
And then he won his game on Sunday night in Dallas, did his thing. However, and I thought, and I'm like, okay, if he can get this done on Monday night versus Russell, that will totally catapult him right in that conversation.
And
they didn't get it done. That's my point of me saying I was disappointed in what happened. Because it was a chance.
See, my problem is anytime they've played a team of quality, Kirk's numbers have always looked good. His stats have always looked good. His stats looked good in Washington. It's why he ended up getting the deal that he did with the Vikings. It's why he had a certain number of people who were saying, I can't believe they continue to franchise tag him. They should lock him up. But if you're going to pay him what the Vikings are paying him, he not only needs to win games, which he has, but you need to win games, big games, against your top opponents. And that's where still left me a little short. Yeah, they beat Dallas. I think Dallas, we kind of know who Dallas is. They're not as good as we thought they were.
Everybody was praising Dallas.
I know. Well, and they kind of got exposed for maybe not being everything that we thought they were. Right?
Okay.
So give me the signature win for the Vikings with Kirk Cousins this season.
It was the Dallas game, and it was the comeback versus Denver when nothing was going right. You can say what you want. Like he literally had one bad game this season. One. And that was week 2
statistically
at Green Bay, where he threw for 230, but he had a 52 rating and 43 completion percentage.
Denver Broncos are a 4-8 team.
It doesn't matter. Everyone is beating everybody this year. Like you're making it seem like just
the Dallas Cowboys are a 500 team.
Okay.
Like I'm just saying, if you look at who the Texans have beaten, if you look at who the Ravens have, come on, Kirk Cousins was never in the conversation with Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson when it comes to MVP.
He could have had he won this week. That was my whole point.
Well, then he would have had a signature win. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he could have if he won. That's my whole point. You're jumping on it when I'm not even I didn't even get to finish my whole thought. My whole point was that he could have. I was disappointed because he should have won this week, and that would have helped him out in terms of putting himself in that conversation.
Maybe it's a difference of opinion on what in the conversation means, because he still, in my mind, would have been behind Russell Wilson and would have been behind Lamar Jackson. So would he be on the ballot if you were picking 4 or 5 guys? Yeah. Okay, maybe. But would you put him there ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
Had he won, he could have been in that once again. He could have been 3 or 4.
Would you put him ahead of Michael Thomas in New Orleans?
He could have been 3 or 4 if he beat Russell.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it there. But here's the thing. So you are vouching for Kirk Cousins hard right now.
I'm not. I'm not anymore because he lost.
Understood.
My whole point was, had he done what he was supposed to do versus Russell Wilson in Seattle, he would have made a strong case for himself to be in a conversation. Did I think he was going to win or lead? There's no way he was going to win or lead, but he could have been at least talked about if they won last night.
I guess the hard part for me is whenever I thought we were in agreement why Washington didn't hitch their wagon to him, and that Kirk is
they did offer. They did offer, and Kirk said no.
Right, because he thought he was worth more.
No, but he didn't trust the Redskins. That's why he said no.
Okay. Well, that's another matter. Okay, fair enough.
That is the matter.
So he didn't want to be there.
He did not want to be a Redskin.
Okay. And I actually don't have a problem with the Redskins kicking the can down the road with him until they thought they could find somebody else that would be better, a.k.a. Alex Smith. So, but I thought you and I were in agreement that Kirk is a very good quarterback. A good quarterback, maybe a very good quarterback. An overachiever in terms of studies his ass off, works hard, but is not an elite quarterback. Is not an elite quarterback.
we do it. That's what, you're not even listening, dude. We do. I never said we didn't agree on that. We do agree on that, but I'm saying that this season he was playing
like an elite quarterback?
He was getting to the point where he could have put himself in that conversation. Absolutely.
Okay. You're not eating snacks, and so I'm going to take that as a plus. And you're still a little grouchy at the fact that we started recording late. So I'm not going to.
He played well the past. I don't care who the hell it was against. He played well the past 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
So before we go, I wanted to run this by you. Looking at the playoff, and I'm springing this on you, so I don't know if you're ready to address this, but we've got the Steelers and the Titans tied right now for the last wild card spot in the AFC. The Steelers actually have the tiebreaker based on best winning percentage in conference games. And so then the top 5 are the Ravens, the Patriots, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Steelers. That's the 6 in the AFC as it stands right now. In the NFC, we've got the Saints, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Vikings, with the Rams lurking at 7-5 and in the 7th spot, one game back behind Minnesota. Do you expect? Is there anybody?
What are the Rams' losses? Bucks, Seattle, San Fran, Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, they've had a couple bad ones. The Bucks loss was a bad one.
Yeah, it was.
Do you see the playoff picture changing as far as who's in or who's out? Like, do you think the Vikings can catch the Packers for the division?
Depending on the health of
Thielen.
Dalvin Cook. Well, Thielen, yeah. Well, I would say Thielen, absolutely Thielen, because no one else can catch passes. Everyone else, they were dropping everything yesterday.
Fair.
On Monday night.
Although they had a big 4th down play where Kirk didn't quite put it in the right spot.
No, it was a horrible play call. Nobody was open.
That was a bad play call.
And then Zimmerman should have challenged that. He should.
You thought it was pass interference?
He should have at least challenged it.
Yeah.
These coaches don't know how to use it right now. Like, you got 3 timeouts. Challenge that.
By the way, how are you? Speaking of that, I think part of the challenge, the reason that you're not seeing them challenge more is because they're so uncertain about what's going to be called.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because he definitely jumped on his back.
But if you're thinking in that instance, it's going to cost me a timeout if I get it wrong. I'd rather have the timeout in my pocket.
Got 2 more. Well, it's 4th down though. Like, don't throw it on 3rd down. It's 4th down.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah.
Because then it was over after that.
Agreed. So to go back to my question before we shut this down, do you see anybody jumping into the playoff picture? You see the Titans, I don't know, overcoming the Steelers, or the Raiders. The Raiders are still at 6-6. Colts are still at 6-6. I don't have their schedules in front of me, and sometimes we do that, and you can prognosticate based on who they're going to play, but then you got people losing to teams you don't expect them to lose to, and beating teams you don't expect them to. There's matchups that go at this point, and there's so much parity that I don't know whether that really, really matters.
I think the Rams could figure out some way, somehow, to jump Minnesota.
Okay.
And I could see, depending on the quarterback play offensively for Pittsburgh, Tennessee is lurking right there, and I don't know what happened to Oakland. They just fell apart.
Yeah.
You know what happened to Oakland?
They don't have DBs, man. They need to pull our boy Will Blackmon in there.
They didn't sign me. That's what happened.
That's exactly right. I like Derek Carr as a guy. Jury's still out for me on him. I think he's as good as the talent around him. I think he needs time. I think he needs quality receivers. I think he needs a running game. And I know that every quarterback needs that.
You shouldn't have to need all that.
You shouldn't?
You shouldn't have. No.
Well, you shouldn't if you're getting paid what he's getting paid.
You just play catch, man. You don't need all that.
Yeah. All right.
Russell doesn't need all that. Russell needs nothing.
No.
Tom Brady needs nothing.
Kirk Cousins needs Adam Thielen. That's why he's not in the MVP conversation.
Kirk Cousins has been playing well without Adam Thielen.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Against inferior opponents, he's been playing well.
So why is no one saying anything about New England?
By the way, you know what? I'm glad
you're 10-2, and they lost to two good teams. Two losses.
So you're still buying. You're a buyer, not a seller on the New England Patriots.
I'm never selling New England.
Are they the best team in the AFC?
Absolutely not.
Are they the second best team in the AFC?
That's debatable.
Are they capable of being the best team in the AFC?
Yes, they are.
So they're capable of beating the Ravens in the postseason.
They are capable, no question.
Okay. Are they capable of losing to the Texans again in the postseason?
No, they're not going to lose to Houston again.
Yeah. By the way, before we go, I was searching for a positive note to end on, or something that's a little more lighthearted than our tiff over Kirk Cousins. And
that was your tiff. You felt you're trying to
you're right.
Something out of me, and it's not happening. It was like I said, because my thing was, had he won the game against Seattle, that would have helped him out, but he didn't. So
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Back to square one.
Yep. So we saw the Texans linebackers coming in the garb. Did you ever do anything like that?
No.
Wear like a Halloween costume to get all manned up for a game? Did you ever play against somebody who did anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Did you have any teammates who did anything like that?
Nope.
Is that a relatively new phenomenon? I feel like it's somewhat of a new phenomenon.
I don't know.
Why is it always the Texans? They wore the leather jackets to New England, and it's always against New England. What's up with that?
I don't know. I'm not there. You got to ask your boys in Houston.
You've got
at the end of the day, whatever, because I had a buddy hit me up.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're going to get stopped for doing that. I was like, dude, whatever works to keep them together, I'm for it. So if they all decided that we're all going to do this together and show up together, then so be it. At least they're doing something together and not a bunch of individuals walking around like I'm going to have my own good game. They all did it. They all did it together.
They all wore the leather jackets and they got stomped.
Then it happened. At least they got stomped together.
Yeah. In their leather jackets.
New York Giants wore black to the Super Bowl, and they said it's going to be a funeral for New England. And it was.
Yep. They were.
Yeah. What you got to do?
All right.
The receivers wore Canadian Christmas pajamas to the game on Monday night.
All right. I'll be interested to see you. Wait till you see what I wear the next podcast with you.
No, I won't care.
It'll be a maybe we should do that. Maybe we'd have better solidarity if we were wearing, like, we came up with a theme, some garb that we'll wear. Silence. Love it. All right. You're really that offended by that idea?
Oh, dude, you're just going on.
Okay.
I'm trying to go spend time with my wife, and you're
wow. Okay, that does it.
Rant.
That does it for this episode. Man, does that do it for this episode of Bucher and Blackmon, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast network. Please rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want us to do something for you, we have a couple of books. I'll show you Derrick Rose's autobiography and A Life in Two Worlds, Yao Ming's biography written with me. Derrick did his with Sam Smith, the great legendary NBA writer. We will send you an autographed copy of one of those books, your choice. But you have to rate and review us and then send the rating and review to @BucherFriends, and you will be eligible to win. All right, that does it for this episode. And in the next, unless one of my NBA friends comes through and I have a guest, I am going to be talking. And even if I do, I feel like we're losing the game. The NBA has become a game. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And the NBA is discovering that. And I will discuss that in the next podcast. In the meantime, for Will and myself and Kirk Cousins, thanks for listening.